Are you familiar with Motley Crue, the ridiculously fruitful and compelling metal band? While many believe them to be one of the best metal groups ever, not all metal groups have delighted in visiting them. Truth be told, some have revolted against their negative encounters out and about with the infamous Crue. In this video, we'll investigate some of the metal groups who didn't appreciate visiting with Motley Crue. Before we make a plunge, make sure to hit that subscribe button. In 1984, Motley Crue was part of the Monsters of Rock tour headlined by heavy hitters Van Halen and AC/DC. This tour coincided with what drummer Tommy Lee called the band's crazy biting phase. As Lee recounted to USA Today, if Motley Crue really liked you, they would bite you instead of high-fiving or hugging. Unfortunately, this habit led to an altercation with Eddie Van Halen, whom lead vocalist Vince Neil bit on the hand, causing the guitarist to become understandably enraged. Bassist Nikki Sixx later confessed that their biting antics almost cost them their spot on the tour, as the habit often drew blood and other bands didn't take kindly to it. In December 1984, Hanoi Rocks arrived in Los Angeles for their first ever California shows, which were successful and led to a party at Vince Neil's house. Later, Neil and Hanoi Rocks drummer Nicholas Razzle Dingley went to a local liquor store in Neil's car, but an intoxicated Neil lost control and collided with an oncoming vehicle. Razzle died, and two people in the other car were seriously injured. Neil was charged with vehicular manslaughter and driving under the influence of alcohol, and in September 1985 was sentenced to 30 days in jail, 5 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and a $2.6 million restitution. Despite dedicating an album to Razzle's memory, Motley Crue released 2 box sets called Music to Crash Your Car To, which drew criticism from Hanoi Rocks and others as being tasteless and disrespectful. In 1983, Motley Crue was offered a spot on Kiss's spring tour in support of their album Creatures of the Night. The up-and-coming band at the time eagerly accepted the opportunity and opened for Kiss on 5 West Coast dates. However, their time on the tour was short-lived, as Kiss bassist Gene Simmons reportedly fired them for bad behavior. In his book, The Dirt, Motley Crue bassist Nikki Sixx complained that the Kiss shows were excruciatingly boring and that Simmons talked about himself all day and all night long. Simmons had always been vocal about his disapproval of drug and alcohol use, which conflicted with Motley Crue's reputation for substance abuse. Steel Panther, a comedic glam and metal band, has faced backlash from Motley Crue for their humorous lyrics that parody 80s hair metal bands. During their tour together in 2011, Motley Crue made it clear that they didn't like Steel Panther and were unwelcoming. Steel Panther lead guitarist Michael Starr joked about Vince Neil's current state in a 2019 interview, angering Nikki Sixx, who called them a wannabe band. Steel Panther fired back by exposing Sixx's past criticism of Vince Neil. Despite the tension, Steel Panther still loves Motley Crue, except for Sixx, whom they think is a jerk. In 1999, Motley Crue and the Scorpions embarked on a joint summer tour dubbed the Maximum Rock Tour, which included a stop in Las Vegas, Nevada. During the concert at the Mandalay Bay Event Center, Motley Crue's bassist Nikki Sixx was arrested and charged with disturbing the peace for allegedly inciting a riot. Prior to the concert, 3 other members of the band were also arrested after Las Vegas police had warned them that disorderly conduct wouldn't be tolerated. Sixx expressed his frustration with the Las Vegas Police Department's behavior during the show, claiming that Motley Crue weren't allowed to be themselves in Sin City. According to a police report, Sixx told the crowd that they could start flipping over cop cars if they didn't like it, and the crowd became increasingly hostile, with some attempting to hurl chairs at police officers. When law enforcement tried to apprehend Sixx, a physical altercation broke out between police officers and the band's crew, resulting in the arrest of Sixx and 3 others on charges of provoking a breach of the peace. The Scorpions were reportedly unhappy with the disruptions caused by Motley Crue's unruly behavior.